our scalability protocol called Sendu. So, always the gaming world is so excited. It's so amazing. So I'm super, super excited for this partnership. One of the ideas and things we're going to be talking about here is how can we take simple gaming platforms and go into more on an expansive metaverse gaming economy. So I'm so excited. I'm also very new at the topic, so I'm going to be learning a lot today as well. And super, super excited to be here today. So with us, you can see in the screen, we have Rob Iglioni. He is the team lead and co-founder of Horizen and the CEO of Horizen Labs. We also have Jason Kovar. He's the CEO of GameStation, and they're going to be answering all of your questions. So apart from the AMA, we will also like to give you some gifts, and we're going to have a giveaway. So I'm going to be providing the details here at the beginning, but we're going to be providing the link later on in the call. So we're going to be sharing a special code that you people will need to introduce to a link, and you need to provide some information in there. And we're going to give away some money in US dollars in Zen, as well as in gamer tokens. So stay tuned for that. And just be aware of whenever we drop the link in there. So now let's learn more about our guests. I'll pass the word now to Jason, because I'm really, really excited and very nice to meet you, Jason. So welcome, and please introduce yourself.
Angie, I am so excited to be here. I feel like I'm going to jump out of my skin, and I have to be honest with you.
When
I have Rob on the phone like this, Rob, I feel like the audience and the people listening might have just more fun listening to us catch up.
Agreed.
From everything that's happened. I mean, there's so much neat history here that I just could not be more thrilled to be involved with Horizen. My view on Horizen is just that, well, I'll just give you a quick background. My background was medical, and I switched from medical into internet marketing, and then internet marketing turned into crypto several years ago. Ended up meeting Rob at a very small, kind of an intimate, I'd say, setting in, where was it, Austin, I believe?
Yeah, the same one where I met Dean, actually. So a lot of history there.
That's right. And it was just a neat blending of everything. I mean, just a lot of synergy. And from then on, Rob kind of sealed the deal for me, in a sense, to get more involved with crypto and help with marketing with different projects, because back then the marketing, right? Remember that? It was more Wild Westy.
Totally. Now we have marketing professionals on the team. It's crazy.
Well, that's the thing. You guys have grown into such an amazing organization that it blows me away. And what I'd like to say to a lot of your viewers and your audience is, you guys may not realize it, but having worked with people in the industry, and we're talking, top 10 companies over the past few years, Horizen is some of the smartest guys in the room. The people on your team are blow minds. And so I'm just thrilled. I am really happy to be here and to just kind of dive in with this with you and kind of get into the weeds a little bit about all the different things that are coming. So thanks for having me. Super appreciative.
Thank you, Jason, for him.
What an intro. I don't know how to go after that one, but I do have to say, just by way of background, when I heard what Jason was up to at GameStation, I knew we had to get in. So the moment we heard about it, like, sign us up. We need to be part of that, whether we're investors, whether we're partners, whether we're just cheerleaders on the side. I don't care. We're going to participate. We're going to make this thing, as successful as we can with you guys. So quick background on me, maybe more for the GameStation community that doesn't know me. I'm Rob. I CEO of Horizen Labs, and Horizen Labs is the technology arm of the Horizen ecosystem. Also co-founder of that Horizen, public blockchain ecosystem, cryptocurrency, Zen. Background before that, I was a scientist, mathematician. Ended up getting my advanced degree work in finance and economics. So I switched from the hard sciences to the social sciences, which I think suited me a little bit better. But I just to echo Jason's sentiment, I think that the way that we have built this organization, the way we built our project, and the way that we put together these types of partnerships is we look for the best people. We look for the best people who are passionate, smart, like really kind of geniuses in what they do, and then people that are just really solid, good people as well, just from like a moral, ethical perspective. And I know that these are sort of intangible things, but when you just do this day after day, you end up just laying the solid foundation. From there, really anything's possible.
Wow, well said. If I can just jump in on that, just dovetail, in terms of the organization that you guys have put together. See, I told you this to be real informal. It's super impressive. It's just neat to see all the people that you have working there and the way there's so much synergy. And honestly, I mean, Horizen has made a great footprint, but I believe with what you guys do have coming, because you gave me a little sneak peek, I think no one's going to see you guys coming. I think you're going to just come and wham, the market. So I'm super pumped about what's in store for you guys.
Just our friends and family like you guys. So
love it. Thanks.
Awesome. So before we get started with the questions, I would like for you both to, and maybe you can kind of like share together, tell us a little bit more about what this partnership means for Horizen, for GameStation. What are we doing together?
yeah, please.
You want me to kick that off, Rob?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay. So GameStation, let me just give you a brief little high-level nutshell-y view of GameStation. So what GameStation is to circle back to 2 years ago, me and a few of the other guys that founded this, we're talking, what can we do in crypto to help people in the blockchain space, crypto space, I mean, to help people make money and to do something unique, do something that's different, that's a bit outside the box. Because there's a million carbon copy projects that are just doing all this stuff. So many months of development. We self-funded the whole thing. I mean, a year ago, we were trying to figure out how to incorporate NFTs with use cases and utility, how to do things that we're going to be launching soon that people don't even know that you can do with NFTs yet, honestly. And so our whole thrust was to try and be on the edge, on the cusp, and give people an opportunity who have what we call basic life activities, be able to implement something into their world where they can make money with this. Well, Axie has proven the model works. Proof of concept's done, jury's out. We know that people are going to play games. We know that if they can make money with it, it's a total win. So in marketing, I told you my background's marketing. You don't want to, the last thing you want to do is create a wave. You just want to ride the one that's there. We were already on our surfboards and the wave came to us. So we were prepping this whole thing, and really neat the way it all just panned out. I mean, not neat with COVID, right? But people ended up staying home and playing games. And now with this play to earn model, there's just a lot of opportunity. So GameStation in and of itself is a place where developers can come, or people that are indie, as we call them, can come and independent, and they can launch their games on the platform. And they can sell the games in a sense to the community, where the community can have ownership in the games if the games are good. And then they could take those NFTs, those tokens, those rewards, those benefits, whatever they want. They could sell them, hold them, use them to live on. It doesn't matter. And so it's twofold. The devs get a place to come. The gamers get a place to go and to play real games and make money. So just kind of on a high level, that's what it is. And Horizen is going to be an amazing partner in this. And I'll let Rob kind of take the thunder there and go with it, because we see a lot of great things coming.
So I'm going to speak out of format here a little bit, because what I love about what Jason's doing is really going towards kind of why I got into crypto in the first place, and really kind of one of those driving elements of what we do with Horizen is the idea is to create this new alternative, decentralized virtual economy, kind of like precursor to a metaverse. I know that's a term going around the world, the tech world these days, but even prior to that, what we're trying to do is to create a new system that doesn't have arbitrary borders, doesn't matter where you're born, who you are, who your parents were, what education you have, doesn't matter. If you want to participate in this kind of online world and you want to be part of this online community economy that's growing, you can. And that's why I got into crypto. That's why I loved Bitcoin. That's why I loved just like the mission, the vision, and where we're going with Horizen of just trying to really empower people and create a better future. Now, what Jason and the guys are doing at GameStation is they're actually taking that and putting it into practice. And they're doing this in a gaming environment where they're creating just, a platform where people can come in, build their own stuff, raise their own money, not have to be, kind of go to Harvard, MIT, and be lucky enough to go to Silicon Valley to be able to pitch VCs. You can actually do this in a decentralized way with the community. And this is just such an empowering, future for people. And this is just one example of it that, I do have to say Jason is a visionary. And he was the guy who actually told me years ago, Rob, you got to start paying attention to this NFT thing. And back then I was like, oh, come on, CryptoPunks, what's the big deal, right? I wish I went out and just grabbed a bunch of them myself, but visionary. And now, like, whenever I see him going into something new, I know that that's going to be a really big thing. So what they're doing here with GameStation is huge. So that said, that big preamble, and guys, I know that this is informal just because we're friends, but just the 30-second on Horizen, really like who we are and how we're different from the rest of the crypto community, because there is a large ecosystem here. There's a large industry. There's a lot of different players and a lot of hype, FOMO, really good innovative things going on, and a bunch of other things that maybe, like Jason said, are copy paste models. Who we are is we launched in 2017. So we're kind of, I guess that makes us sort of veterans in the crypto world. 2017, that's 4 or 5 years old at this point. We bootstrapped from privacy technology with Zcash. So the idea was, we know that privacy is going to be really important because this blockchain thing is revolutionary, but everything's public. And by definition, blockchain is public. All information, even if it's kind of obfuscated with just like a public key address, that's still public, and you can correlate these to real human beings. And as soon as you correlate it once, you can see everything that people have ever done on blockchain. So going back to 2017, we knew that this was going to be a bit of a problem for really scaling blockchain into the real world. And this was where Zcash came into the forefront. There were other privacy coins from there. But for us, it wasn't necessarily, we didn't want to be another privacy coin, but we knew zero knowledge cryptography, this classical cryptography that enabled what Zcash was doing, we could generalize to arbitrary data structures. And now we can have data privacy on blockchain. Now, we've taken this in a few different ways because this is really a key part of technology. And the organization that we built is really one of the best in the world at being able to build different types of data structures, different types of cryptographic circuits for applications using this technology. And that's what we do, right? So we're really all about blockchain at massive scale. So we're releasing in two or 3 weeks now, December 1st, we're releasing Zendu, which is our big interoperability protocol. This is like our version of what Cosmos is. The Cosmos, the IBC, the inter-blockchain communication protocol from Cosmos that enables sidechains. This is like that, but our version and totally decentralized. And we can have something like up to 10,000 blockchains that run in parallel in our ecosystem simultaneously. And we're also releasing to market simultaneously to the Zendu product we're calling Blaze, which is a super fast blockchain instance. So it's basically an SDK, a software developer kit, where the user, developer, company can now launch a proof of stake blockchain that is really fast. That's what we call it, Blaze, where you can have something like 1,000 transactions a second. So we're all about the blockchain infrastructure. We have a massive infrastructure, like 45,000 servers around the world running our software. We have one of the most massively scalable sidechain type systems out there. And we are real experts at zero knowledge cryptography for data privacy, which is what we think the blockchain world needs to scale. I'm mouthful, sorry guys.
I'll let Angie go because there's so much good stuff there, but Angie, you do talk.
Sure. No, I just want to say that I can confirm with everything that Rob is saying. I've been part of Horizen almost since the beginning, and it's been just like a tremendous ride of fun in not just work, but also fun in being able to be part of the organization, the teams growing, the technology. I myself, I've been in front of what we're doing from the very basis. So I'm always super excited. And
wait, can I jump in here, because Angie's always so humble. She does these AMAs. She does an amazing job with our weekly insights, everything. And we never talk about Angie. So Jason, I know this is where we're going to go. But Angie is a total OG in this industry. And she and I met back in Munich was it 2017? 2017, right? Exactly. Before we launched Horizen. And she and I were both working on another crypto application back in the day. And she was the best person on the team. And that's why when we were launching Zencash back then, which is Horizen now, I knew, like, let me just reach out to the best people that I've ever worked with in this industry. And voila, here Angie is. She's just been a total rock star in the industry for Horizen. So thank you.
No, thank you, Rob. Thank you. Super, super glad and always grateful.
Angie,
to be part
I
of.
think you're blushing a little bit.
I am. No,
We
I'll
never
try to
talk about
hide
her.
it.
It's amazing. She's always doing all of these things.
Look at her. She's sliding under the table.
I know. I'm everywhere. But
Yeah.
anyway, so
But
okay.
actually now, like, besides her doing this, she actually does like really intense software project management. So she's in the weeds on our core technology. So she knows that intimately.
I'm just grateful and excited to be part of all of this and working with great and amazing people. That's my highlight of every day. But anyways, so let's see. We have a lot of questions from both our communities about this partnership. So I would really kind of like go with the flow and for you guys to just talk about what excites you the most. And Jason, I would like for you to go and extend a bit more about GameStation. So anything that you feel very passionate about right now, any background, anything that you would like to share with the community. So please go ahead.
Wow. People say, where do I start? Like, where do I start? That's a great question, and it gives me so much runway. You better be careful, Angie. So in terms of, if I can just circle back to what Rob was saying, for the GameStation audience that maybe is not familiar with Horizen, this is an epic organization. And when I say epic, I truly mean epic. They're bold, they're always advancing, and it's always forward. And so there's a lot of camaraderie on the team, which allows a family kind of synergy for this to move forward. This is important because in a lot of blockchain projects, there's a lot of, and you'll see it. I don't want to name names with certain organizations, but you'll see the infighting.
Let the gossip flow. Come on, Jason. Just kidding. Don't
I can't. I want to so bad. I almost just did it when you said that. I can't. Okay, but right it's super important. But for Horizen, this is huge for us because a lot of people are going, well, what does gaming have to do with privacy? Guys, gaming has everything to do with privacy, everything in the world. And this is super important that everyone wraps their mind around this because the big boys know it. The Fortnites get it. And by the way, we're talking with a Fortnite competitor that we have nothing signed yet. But if they do come on board with us, kaboo-boo. I mean, it's going to fly. The whole gaming industry is going to fly big time. And the Zendu is super important because with the privacy, see, when you're doing payment details and these kind of things, do you generally want those private or do you want them out there for the whole world to see? Well, it's really preferred to have things private. Horizen handles that. Who owns the NFTs? Horizen handles that. Who owns 18 cyberpunks? We're not sure. It's Zendu, so there's some really neat applications here. And when the big boys come in, they're not going to want to just throw everything on certain layer 2 chains that are very popular right now that I won't mention because there's a lot of vulnerability there. And so these titanic organizations that are stuck in the antiquated model, part of the reason is because they're waiting for epic tech solutions to come, and we believe Horizen offers that. So GameStation, in a nutshell, we want to be the Kickstarter of gaming, and we're not going to compete with the other launchpads out there. The goal is a little different. The goal is we want the gaming industry to succeed. I mean, we saw what happened, like I mentioned, and you guys are familiar with Axie over there in the Philippines. I mean, those people are paying their bills. So it's not about GameStation figuring out how to dominate the launchpad space so that we can toot a horn. It's about how to get the other nations in Latin America on board so they can pay their bills. So by working with some of our other competitors, which we're already doing, it's not who's number one in the launchpad space. It's ideally, if you're a game, you want to go on all of them. So you want to have the opportunity to go to all the different launchpads and get the game out there, which is what we're doing. And as the Kickstarter of gaming, we're allowing, to Rob's point, for anyone to come that has a good idea that the community votes on, says yay, thumbs up, to get in, on that game, to own a piece of that game, to play that game, to make money on that game, and then see how far and wide that footprint can go. So essentially Kickstarter of gaming, but also for the gaming community, we have a huge community already. Telegram shut our channel down, Rob. It was like 2 weeks before our launch, and we had 10,000 people, and they shut it down.
Wow.
Like, right before.
Wow.
And it was cool because we scrambled, we put together a new channel, and it roared back to over 25K in just a few days. And no bots too. So it's pretty cool. So we're seeing this avalanche of Gamer was #1 on Dex tools yesterday. So we're seeing a lot of neat momentum, and it's not us, it's not me. I'm out there in the public, but it's the GameStation team is amazing. These guys are sick. And I oftentimes compare them, funny enough, I don't say it publicly, but to the operations guys that you have working. I mean, you guys make some serious inroads on partnerships and everything. And I see a lot of similarities there, you know? So I feel I'm probably rambling now because this is the most informal AMA I've ever done. And I just want to, you know, get marshmallows and hot cocoa and just enjoy it. But let me stop there. I'm sure other questions will come that will flesh it out. And Rob, you can, you know, you probably have some points.
Totally, yeah. So I don't even know the best place to go from there. Do you want me to just dive in, Angie, or?
Please, you already know the question, Rob.
So I mean, really, there's probably two elements for where I think we add value. I mean, hopefully we add more value, like you know, as amazing cheerleaders for the GameStation community. But really, we add two key elements: one on the technology side, and the other on the economic side here. So on the tech side, I could not agree more that it's all about privacy. And even though we don't often talk about privacy in gaming, we don't even talk about privacy enough in like everything else we do or anything else we do in the technology world with our computers or smartphones. Really, we're now in a world where we woke up one day, we didn't realize it, and everything we do with our lives is being tracked. Everything, right? And there are some companies that are making phenomenal amounts of money on that. Okay, good for them. They've pioneered some data collection and machine learning stuff to be able to economically harvest that. But there's probably a better way of doing this, because I don't think that we really all signed up explicitly to the social contract of every aspect of our lives being monitored. And now when you start talking about like technology transitioning over into your livelihood, like it is in the gaming world right now, and bringing up the Philippines example with Axie is awesome, because this went from just, you know, pure like entertainment to now a real income source for people. And when you have that, it is so imperative to be able to safeguard people's privacy, just in the same vein of we don't want everyone to be able to see our bank account number. Like even if I don't have much money in my bank account and whatever, I don't really care, you know, on a day-to-day basis, there will come a point where it matters, where you don't want the entire world peering into your home, peering into your bank account, peering into everything that you end up doing with your life. And not even saying that you're doing anything wrong, just it's wrong. It in and of itself, it's wrong for people to be able to, without your explicit permission, see everything that you're doing. Now, as the gaming world is going to bleed into the metaverse world, and the metaverse turns into kind of like a digital twin or a second life of our lives, this is ever more critical. So really, Horizen Labs, the company, is a cryptographic circuit building company. Like that's what we do. That's our core business. These are the products we make. And it's all about preserving privacy for data structures and financial flow. I mean, really for, you know, these digital assets online. And as this metaverse starts evolving, like really evolving, and I think we're kind of at this, you know, inflection point where we need to start taking it seriously. Privacy technology is absolutely critical. So this is it in a nutshell on the technology side of how we can add big value. The other is, and I know GameStation launched with some other network partners, but we also have post Zendu, and Zendu is going live December 1st, a massively scalable L1, so like a layer 1 blockchain system that is available not just to GameStation, but also to all of the game developers on the platform to be able to launch their games using their own blockchains. You know, they could carve out function-specific blockchains that are part of an interoperable network. They could have their own blockchains. And the reason why you would want to do this is, number one, congestion, because we've seen with the massive success of Ethereum as an example, where when your chain becomes successful, all of a sudden it's economically infeasible to do a whole bunch of things. Basically, chop off a chunk of that supply curve of potential things you could do with a blockchain, because the cost per transaction skyrocket with congestion, because you're trying to flood a whole bunch of transactions through a single pipe, right? So the idea of our technology is we don't have a single pipe. We have thousands of pipes, and you can have your own. You can have all of your activity for your game, for your little economic system that you want to build. It's yours. Now, finally, on the economics of that, besides just cost cost control is revenue capture. And this goes back to one of Jason's points is our systems are completely configurable from the developer's perspective, where you participate directly, like you have your own blockchain. So you could basically be like the miner of your own blockchain, where you, the developer, capture revenue flows from transaction, like part of the transaction flows is your revenue. And you can launch your own tokens on this platform that's native to the consensus of that blockchain. And I know this is kind of like a lot of, blockchain tech jargon, but you can also reward the developer and participants with the native token, that's needed for consensus of this own chain on top of the gamer platform. So you can have kind of layered stacked rewards for people to be able to really operate in a turbocharged economic way that just wasn't possible before. So it all comes back to making things more efficient, secure, with privacy, and a lot more economic opportunity for developers and gaming participants. Not just the developers, but also the designers, people that create digital artwork, people that create NFTs, people that contribute ideas and just operations to the success of these games.
So Rob, if I can jump in really quick, maybe you can spell it out a little more. So if I'm a developer and I just listened to what you said, well, that sounds pretty good. Can I just get in touch with someone there and they can walk me through setting it up, or do I have to write all this code and go learn all these new languages and do all this stuff, or how does that work?
No, 100%. So, and this is why Horizen Labs exists. And on the Zen Blockchain Foundation side, we're just spinning up a dev relations team with actual senior developers who can actually help people use our software developer kits, our SDKs. So really, our core product is an SDK, so a developer can come, grab that SDK, which launches a blockchain. And from there, like we would be available to help, okay, what would you trying to do with that blockchain? There's a whole bunch of stuff you could do out of the box with it. If you want to custom some gaming logic, we can talk about that with you for sure. So I highly recommend people reach out to us about it.
That's exciting. So we have a lot of games already in our pipeline. And this is why I say to the community, no one sees Horizen coming. I mean, people are talking about, just some stuff out there right now. What would it be? They're talking about Poly, they're talking about Solana, they're talking about Avalanche. No one's talking about Zendu yet, but it's coming. Mm-hmm. And because of the tech and what it provides with the privacy, we see a lot of blue sky. Because for GameStation, on our side of things, we feel like the word immune is not the right word, but we feel we have more of a bulletproof kind of use case than the crypto space as a whole. And let me give you an example. I mentioned before the basic life activities, BLAs. That's what GameStation kind of represents. What do I mean by that? 25 years ago, I don't want to date us too much here, Rob, but when we were playing Atari or ColecoVision or Nintendo, if the stock market went up, did we just throw our Nintendo in the closet and walk away and say, oh, I can't believe this, right? We still play games, and studies show that when markets crash and finances are down, people play games more. If Bitcoin crashes, do I stop going to the grocery store? Do I stop getting in my car and driving over to run an errand? Do I stop taking a shower? Do I stop playing games? It doesn't matter. So it's kind of in a neat position to be able to be, that's why I say immune, somewhat hedged or sheltered from the overall market as a whole. And so that's one really important thing. But as we expand into these bigger companies that we're talking with now, we really do believe that there's going to be some neat use cases for us working together with you guys and the whole team. So we're super excited.
Awesome. Okay, so I have two upcoming questions. One is I think it's short and sweet, but it gives me a lot of FOMO. It says, will GameStation launch a token on Horizen? This one, I believe, is for Jason.
FOMO, I love it. So we have a token on currently Poly. We're launching a token soon on another network, and then thereafter, ETH is in there. So I don't see why we wouldn't. We haven't gone into too much depth on that specifically, but I would say, we're totally open to that. I know you guys are too, and I'd say, why wouldn't we? So just kind of a nutshell answer there.
Can I say absolutely? I'm dying to see it, so I'm all for it. We'll make that happen.
Fantastic deal. Shake.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so glad being part of this call right now. Thank you, guys. Okay, so next one is for Rob. And this one, I think you're gonna like it a lot. It says, does Horizen remove crazy gas fees from the equation?
It sure does. And it goes to just the architecture of how we chose to build this thing. And like we've taken probably too long, but we've taken years to actually build an architecture that we think is going to scale into the future of blockchain. Because we knew that this industry was going to take off, and we knew, I shouldn't say we knew, we had an idea this industry was going to take off, and we have big visions or big plans for how we're going to plug these products into the real world, and really just getting this beyond just the FOMO world of digital asset trading, like doing real things like gaming, right? So there's going to be a lot more of that in the coming years. So what we chose to do was to not just use the blockchain stack that we had available to us, but to invent a new one. And to invent this idea of interoperability so that you can run a lot of blockchains in parallel with each other. So you don't just jam everything through this single pipe that I was talking about before. And it's that aspect of trying to jam everything through a single pipe that drives costs higher, right? It's just a bandwidth constraint problem. So as things get congested, people start adding, like increasing the transaction fees to get miners to add those transactions to the blocks so that they get processed, right? This is how Ethereum prices went through the roof, as an example. Now with us, it's just not the case. It's just not, at least for the foreseeable future, not possible, because if you were to run, say, a game on a particular blockchain, your game took off. It's a Horizen sidechain. Your game really takes off. It gets a ton of popularity. You've got, thousands of NFTs trading on it. You've got digital assets that represent, or these NFTs represented within games. You've got tons of gaming transactions, transaction flows going on. Now, if this were to ever hit any kind of congestion aspect where prices start increasing on transaction fees, you could just launch a parallel blockchain to it. And you could just kind of parse this off where there's different elements of your ecosystem that operate on different blockchains. So you just never have this instance of congestion pricing with our architecture. That's what we took the time to build this, and why it's such an exciting time now, because we literally launched this system in like 2 or 3 weeks, December 1st.
Super excited. So there's one for Jason, and I think we can kind of like also, because you guys have already talked about it all over the conversation, but not sure if you would like to bring some specifics to that. It says, and people would like to know, what competitive edge does GameStation hope to achieve by partnering with Horizen, like on top of everything we've been talking about?
Okay. Well, yeah, to Rob's point that he was just mentioning, a lot of games are struggling right now because they're on ETH. So to Rob's point, this is the Zen sidechain is a great solution as a layer one to build on, where we can't see. So every chain, let's just talk about this really, because everybody already knows this. All the chains out there, the devs will generally have different preferences. You can have an ETH maximalist, or you can have an L2 guy over here that wants this, or maybe this guy wants Polkadot or whatever. And they all have advantages and disadvantages. They're all pros and cons. So what we see with Zen is we see an amazing opportunity as a layer one chain for people to get on board with, where, to Rob's point, as their game grows, it's not going to choke it. Because the biggest problem in crypto right now, the biggest ceiling on crypto is crypto. I mean, you look at the ETH fees, people are freaking out. I remember a video, you probably remember this, Rob, like 5 years ago, Vitalik was talking to me, he was sending a transaction online and we were seeing his screen. He's like, wow, 5 cents for a transaction, that's so expensive for the internet of money.
Right.
Dude, I mean, we're dropping $20 to $50, $100 per transaction. This is ridiculous. So, I mean, this really is going to help open things up. Angie, you're going to kill me. What was the question again?
I think you already said that. I mean,
did I? I don't even remember the question.
Yeah, just like competitive edge advantages that we can bring to you.
Okay. So that helps us major. Now remember, we don't want to beat all the other platforms out there. We have different features than them, and the other launch pads have different features than us. But we don't want to like categorize ourselves as us against the other ones. And I'll mention them. I don't even care. GameFi, Seedify, Equinox. These are good platforms. They've launched good games. And so we're not trying to be number one against them. That's not how it works, because in order for the gaming community to grow and for the guys that are not in crypto to get into gaming, there's one delta. Our R&D has figured out what it is. It's a wallet. That's the only delta between crypto gamer and non-crypto gamer. So we're solving that problem right now with a few things we're doing. And we have an NFT marketplace. We're going to gamify the platform. We have some pretty interesting social things that are coming out that no one's doing. So we have differences for us that create a value add for GameStation, but we don't want to compete with them. But we think by having Horizen with us as one of our strategic and very valuable partners, that this is just going to be a model that the other platforms are going to see and go, I want some of that. So it's going to help the gamers at the end of the day, right? Erica's a gamer. She just games all the time. No, she works a lot, but she just wants to know, right?
I suspected as much, by the way. I suspected. Yeah.
No, I'm joking if Erica's listening in, right? But she just wants to know, hey, where can I play a game with no latency and do well and make some money? And she's not interested in all and she wants to tell her friends, hey, you can go make $100 a day playing the hoo-ha game. Oh, super, they'll get in on it too, right? But if we're trying to not grow the gaming ecosystem, instead the company, that's a foul. If we grow the gaming system, the company's success will follow, just like you guys have done. The same way.
This is what I'm saying, like, is partnering with people who actually just have good values. And we feel exactly the same. I mean, even when we work with partners and, partners are trying to do something that maybe we don't do best, I'd rather say, go do it in this other ecosystem, right? It's always about, at the end of the day, you need to make sure your community, your partners, people that are actually the users of your technology are really getting what they want, because then that's going to flow back and you're going to have really long-term success.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. So there's some live questions, very, very interesting ones. Here's one. It says about Horizen and GameStation, and how do you guys see the potential future for the play to earn ecosystem? So if you believe that play to earn will be the standard of the industry, maybe Jason, you can take that one first.
Oh, super interesting question. So right now, the 800-pound gorillas in the room are the Fortnites and these companies. The issue with them is they're all looking at going on the blockchain. They may not talk about it, they may not want to admit it, but they're all trying to figure out how do they get there, what's called P2W, play to win model. And what is that? Play to win model is I go to a game online and I buy some assets or some skins or whatever in the game, and then I play to win. But those assets, those in-game assets, that's it. They're stuck. And studies have shown that after people drop $3,000 and they've reached the highest tier of the game, they're totally depressed, because now they got to go pay off their $3K credit card. And what do I do now? And the gaming companies know this, so they're trying to figure out an out. The problem they have is they're so huge, they're the Titanic with the smallest little rudder, because if they change their model too fast, too much, boom, revenues fall and they're on the hook and people get fired. So it's all about self-preservation for them. For us, we're lightweight, we're fast, man, we're just ready to roll. So the model's disruptive in the sense that what we're doing is we're allowing people to buy those NFTs or in-game assets or whatever, and be able to hold, trade, sell, whatever they want to do with them, and have an out for them. So we do see play to win as a ton of blue sky. It's not a pipe dream. It's really what's going to become the future of gaming. And we'll see it more when the Fortnites of the world get involved. And as I mentioned before, we had a call, an amazing call with a huge competitor to Fortnite, and they want to know how they can partner with us and what we could do together, because they get it and they don't know how, they don't know what to do. So it's a massive learning curve, because it's shifting from P to W, play to win, to play to earn, and they have to be very careful. And we get it, and we're sensitive to it, but they also get it. So we're excited about how that can go, and we think Horizen's going to really make a splash with us with that as well. I hope that answered the question.
It definitely does. And it's there's also another one very interesting coming from the live audience, and I would direct this to Rob. It says, my dream is to see an NFT marketplace on Horizen, and those NFTs to power play to earn games and events. Does Horizen Labs shares this vision?
Mine too. Yeah, I absolutely share that vision. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And what I can tell you is we're rushing now call it a POC. So because it's on testnet, we're doing a tokenization platform on testnet. We're going to launch a testnet Zenny, we call it. So Zenny is the mascot of the Horizen Zen ecosystem. It's this little astronaut that goes to the moon, like every crypto should. And we're going to do that. We're going to launch a Zenny token as just a quick demo. And then we're going to roll into Q1 of next year, actually putting that tokenization platform into production, really maturing it. And then it's from there that NFTs are going to be available within the Horizen ecosystem. So maybe not with the V1, we still need to decide if it's just going to be fungible tokens or if we're going to roll out non-fungibles at the same time. But I mean, the technology is all there under the hood.
You know, if I can jump in on that and just spitball with you, we'll just do it right here. We could probably do something where you guys have just some kind of initial, a small limited supply of NFTs that are NFTs that we put on the GameStation platform where we have some amazing use case and benefits for the people holding it.
I love it. Let's do it. Another handshake.
I love it. That would be awesome.
Wow.
We should do something like that. Yeah.
I can confirm. I'm the witness.
Okay. A little alpha leak there. I like it.
Awesome. So another question also from the audience is, it doesn't say for, who is directed to, but you guys can both jump in on that. It says, are you planning partnerships with gamers who stream in Twitch? I imagine this could be for Jason. Can these gamers receive referral bonuses for popularization?
Like an ambassador program, I suspect they might be talking about.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so internally, we don't have an ambassador program yet, but internally we've talked about it, and we do have some things in the works. We have a guy who is he's a really great strategist. He turned down a job at NBA Top Shot. So for those of you in the NFT space, NBA Top Shot is kind of like an Axie. They're huge. I mean, they do billions of dollars in transactions, and he didn't want to do it because it was they're already kind of in their rut in what they can or can't do. And he liked the lightweight GameStation, flexibility and opportunities here. So yes, I mean, we do see some opportunities. I'm gonna let Rob jump in for the rest of that. I don't want to.
I'd say this is more your bucket in terms of the gaming specific stuff, but I personally love the idea of it. And actually, maybe I'll take this a little tangent, and this is just to kind of piggyback. I'll combine this with your previous answer of the pay to play versus your pay to win model. Is what I see as an economist, the differentiator here and where the industry is going, what we really, as an industry, bring unique to gaming and to a whole bunch of other things is decentralizing things. So taking these like previous play to win like gaming models that are massively successful and have made some companies really, really rich, and decentralizing that. And really not just the ownership, the control, but like the revenue flows, and really just making it so that rather than you having $3,000 on your credit card, you're able to earn $3,000 in whatever period of time by playing and participating. And through participation, maybe through like by doing other value add things, like maybe an ambassador program, right? Making the ecosystem itself more valuable, you earn along the way, and you can actually make money and like really be part of the success of the system. And for me, that's the heart of crypto. That's what we're here to do, is really just to decentralize and disrupt as much as we can. And we're probably not going to disrupt the entire world's economy, but there will be big chunks of it that we absolutely do, right? And I think gaming is going to be one of them. And that's why what GameStation is doing is so exciting.
That works. The guy that we have right now, the NBA Top Shot guy, he's in Latin America, and he's looking at bringing in the actual leaders of a specific country in on it down there. So if that happens, that's going to be a domino effect, because one country will follow another, and the ambassador program should be pretty epic if we do get that off the ground. But yeah, that's the long and short of it.
Super excited. And I just want to say that I'm based in Mexico currently, so whatever I can do to help. Soon in New York, but you can still grab me in Mexico, maybe.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so I do see some few more questions, very interesting, and we're almost there, and we also have the pending giveaway. So I would just like to be very short and sweet with this one. This one is for Jason. It says, will GameStation consider developing its own game in the future?
Short and sweet. Okay, how do I do that? Yes, we're working on it now. We have two things that are actually being developed and being worked on, Angie. And one of them I was sharing with someone recently, and I was just explaining the high level overview. He didn't even let me finish. He said, how can I invest in that? It is a cool idea. It's exciting, and it's, yes, short and sweet. We do have games coming, and we do want to incubate. We also, if I could just chime in one more thing, we're talking with a major studio in Canada right now, and you know who you are if you're listening. And they have a really cool game that if we can, they've done tons of stuff with Disney and Mattel and Google and DreamWorks, and you know they've done all the traditional model, and they really want to go to crypto. And if they decide to do this, we believe this will be the rival to Axie. We believe that this thing will be awesome. So we would love to have Horizen in on that in some way, shape, or form. That's not our own game, but we have cool stuff incubating coming as well. Hope that answers the question.
Oh God, I've never been in an AMA that I'm feeling so much FOMO right now. It's like
Oh.
all of these names, all of
Yeah,
this
we
cool
want in on it,
stuff.
Jason.
Oh, you're in, man, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so next question is for Rob, and I also think you're gonna like this a lot. It says, what are the benefits to send holders for this partnership?
Well, big ones. At the end of the day, value of any ecosystem is really the real world tangible things that you bring to the table. And actually being able to create a new type of system in gaming is huge. All right. So for us to be able to participate, to place our technology, to issue tokens together, right, to issue special NFT collections, like the Xenia ones that we're going to debut on in GameStation, things like this just add a ton of value. And importantly, mixing communities, getting people to work together and collaborating is just huge. And Jason said this a couple of times in this AMA so far. We're in a total blue ocean strategy or blue ocean environment in this marketplace. There's a lot of really great stuff going on. There's some really fantastic projects and ideas, teams. When we pick and choose the best that are out there and we start working together, and great things can happen. So I mean, all around the board, whether it comes to placing technology, products, doing token launches, special NFT collections, all these types of things, even like the platform that Jason was just talking about, potentially rivaling Axie, doing these types of things together adds a ton of value, and both of our ecosystems will benefit.
Great. So, okay, so we're just almost at the end. I would just like to remind everybody, and I believe we're sharing the giveaway link for everyone to participate. We're going to be providing a code, and people would need to put some information there, their names, and just follow up some simple instructions. We're going to be giving away some money in Sane and in Gamer as well as some cool swag, Horizen t-shirts and GameStation t-shirts. So please participate and just join the giveaway. I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna like the gifts. So let's see. I do have one last question. Well, not the last one, but a very good one, and then we can kind of like close it out with the very cool one. This next question, it says, could this project expand to the mental health, hunger, and homeless problem? Could this expand to charities? Kind of like switch over.
I'm sorry, it took me a second to unmute there. The GameStation, could it go into charity or go into mental health?
Yeah, different subjects such as hunger and homeless problem, medical, like other areas, like if there's any potential to expand on that, or it's just
that's very interesting. Yeah, it's a very interesting question, very outside the box question that, to be frank with, I have not really thought much about. I would have to see, I have to try and put something on paper and map something out there. I'm not really sure, but I can answer a part of the question. In terms of charity, we are looking at currently continuing something that we've been doing for a while, that we put X% of profits towards orphanages, and specifically orphanages in other countries, because we look at children as the future, obviously. But we also look at some of these kids that end up in orphanages from parents that have been taken from them or lost, or however it's worked. They're truly victims, And so we want to find some way to help them, not just at Christmas time, like we're here now, where, you have that spirit, but we want to keep that spirit of Christmas all the way through. We think that's the right thing to do and the right way to live. So I'm not sure if that handles homelessness or anything like that, but perhaps 20 years from now, it will keep some people from being homeless, So I hope that kind of helps.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, so the last question, this is for you both, and you, Rob, you can take first word on this. It says, how do you guys see, or how does success look like for this partnership in 1 year, in 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, the way we look at it is, so I like the way that it was framed in terms of short-term, intermediate-term, and long-term stuff, because we look at this as a long-term partnership, right? That's the way we go into it. We're looking for partners for the long run. That said, short-term tangible successes together are really important. So if we could do things like have a token issue together, like a token launch together, NFT, special NFT collection together, and actually takes, important, tangible, just first steps together. Ultimately, and I'll just say from my technology product perspective, if some of our products could be important tools and elements for the GameStation ecosystem, that would be a big success for us. And by that, I mean, having, as an example, a special SDK meant for gamers to make their lives really easy to be able to launch their own blockchain with their own custom tools, modules, and, say like cryptographic elements for data privacy there. That's success for me. And then, of course, like all the things that come with that. And really, in the long run, if we have thriving joint ecosystem together, that's where I want to go.
Rob, I love that answer. I hope the audience can see like what you're hearing here. This is like stuff that could really happen. It's not just someone painting a bunch of nice words together. Like here's a roadmap that's fictional. I mean, this is what, and to kind of jump on that, what I see as success, I think Rob's answer was beautiful, short-term, long-term. And I like the way the question was also framed as well, because Horizen has staying power. And in crypto, this is huge. I mentioned that I'd worked in the past with consulting and advising for marketing on some, pretty big projects. And one of them at the time was a top 10er. Rob, if you remember the name, don't say it. But they were a $1 billion company, and they were using a free ESP service and only had 4,000 people on their mailing list. Now, in corporate America, this is a fail. This is totally unacceptable. So to be able to have staying power, you have to kind of know what you're doing to make it work. Horizen has proven that, because you can still see them on CMC first page, right? I mean, I'm not sure where they are now, but they're definitely a first pager. So this is key. So staying power. And on the GameStation side, we see as just sticking around and being able to provide the cutting edge tech to people like Horizen and whatnot for the people who want to play the games, because let's face it, games aren't going to go away. So we see it as an opportunity to entertain people while they're playing. And we're also pushing out some different models, play for allocation. So you could play games, and as you win, you get allocation in some of the newer projects that are coming out. So it's kind of neat the way things are shaping up. So by staying on the cusp of what's happening and giving people what they want as we move forward, we believe we'll have staying power too. How things will look in 3 years, it's a bit harder for me to tell, because honestly, by the time we're done with this call, everything we've talked about is going to be outdated, because crypto moves so stinking fast. So we're always trying to just stay out there and move forward and be progressive. So we're very excited. 3 years, I can't even imagine what that looks like in 2024. Sheesh. Oh, amazing.
Totally agree on that. And we're almost at the end. I would like to ask you both to share any final thoughts. Rob, would you like to share any final comments to the audience?
I mean, this is for Jason. I have to say, it doesn't feel the same without Dean here on this call.
I know.
Normally it's the three of us, like the trifecta. But this has been so much fun. Well, hopefully he's watching. If not, I'm going to be bombarding him with the link to it afterwards. But this was awesome, Jason. Thank you so much, for all Angie, and for the team who put this together. You can tell that this is, our favorite type of partnership is with people who are super passionate at what they do, people like Jason who are really just visionaries. And, I wish I listened to his advice years ago, but it's fine. We're still doing okay. And going forward, like this is the type of group and people that we want to work with, and just expect big things.
Well, if I could, man, I don't even know where to start with that. Thank you for your kind words. You guys have been so amazing to us, and the whole GameStation team is super excited. And when they found out we were gonna partner up with you guys, it was like they had a party. Everyone was so excited. You even got some comments from one of our guys helping us with marketing that, listen to this, audience. This guy wrote Rob in 2017 an email and said, hey, I have some questions about doing nodes. Guess who answered the email? Rob did. I mean, the guy's a real person. And this made a huge impression on the guy that's helping us with marketing. And he said, anything they need, we will do it. So this is a real neat, progressive kind of thing we're working on here. We're really excited. And from all of us at GameStation, thank you so much. We're truly humbled to be allowed to be at the big table with you guys, truly. And we're
vice versa. Vice versa, big time.
We're like a pig in stink. This metaverse is not going to go away. Facebook changing their name to Meta has shown what it is. Crypto has allowed people to now have ownership in the Meta. So I mean, it's gonna grow. So wherever it goes, it's gonna be good. Wherever.
Awesome. Thank you both for being here, taking the time to do this, and it felt more like a private conversation between the best friends ever rather than an AMA.
Right? Yeah, and like Bob said, all we need is Dean, but Dean's probably on the phone talking to Bill Gates right now, trying to have a partnership with them. I'm not kidding.
He's a total rock star.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he is.
Beast. So yeah, who knows? Next time.
Awesome. Thank you both again. Thank you everyone, the GameStation community, the Horizen Labs community, for joining us today, asking your questions. They are on Menti. Please fill out the information for the giveaway. And thank you everybody for joining us today. If you would like to learn more about this partnership, go to our website, horizen.io, gamestation.io. Check out the blog post, the news. There's so much more coming. I'm excited. And just to thank you all. Thank you, everybody.